Welcome to the Dragon's Tome. This is a very serious discussion about Dragon Magazine. We go through every episode, or every issue. See, I fucked it up already. I can't start good. I don't think I've ever done one good. We go through every issue, every issue of Dragon Magazine from the beginning. We're at 174. And,
welcome to the podcast where people don't start good.
I know no start good. My name's Rob.
I'm Chopper.
And I'm Jack.
And we just went out of order, too. Wow, we're just amateurs now.
I got brain damage. Yeah. This is November 1991. Good day. Good day. This cover is by Paul Jacquet. It is like a what's it called? Starjammer? Yes, Starjammer. It's like Starfighter? No, that's the other one. Starjammer Planet. Spelljammer. That's not Starjammer. Nope. Spelljammer. Thank you. Not Starfinder. Not Spelljammer. Anyways, this is a planet made of wood. A bramble. And that's a ship. It looks like an angel.
Yes. Well, you can see all the peoples on the ground there.
Spelljammer was a crazy thing that you could have these crazy planets, and yeah, this is one of them.
I mean, it looks wood, but it also looks like a giant planet made up of nerve cells. Because if you look at that thing in the very back, it looks very much like a dendrite.
It looks like it would use a beam to scour a planet, leaving nothing but sand in its wake. A crystalline entity, if you would.
Good Star Trek reference.
That's very up to date. Actually,
it's one of my favorite episodes. Actually,
no, I was thinking, what year did that come out? It might have been right around this time.
Could be.
Well, Next Generation was 88, I think, right?
Yeah, and that was the very first episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So roughly, it might have been around this time.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it started. If you know when Next Generation started, comment below.
And what episode? And what season and episode was the Crystal Entity?
It's very first episode. It's pretty easy.
No, the Crystal Entity wasn't the first episode.
Wasn't it?
The Far Station was the very first episode.
Oh, that's right. Anyways, enough Star Trek for some reason.
Anyways, I had this issue.
Ooh.
I remembered the cover, but I thought, you can see these covers in the compendium. You can see the artwork can just through osmosis find you. But when I started reading through, I was like, oh yeah, I had this one.
And this artwork's not like something that I would say would be in a compendium. It's not crazy good. It's interesting, but it's not. I don't think it's no Elmore.
Yeah, it's not horrible, but it's definitely.
It's just an odd picture. Yeah,
it's weird. I mean, the spaceship really throws me off. Like, if you didn't have the spaceship there, I would probably think it was cooler.
Really?
It's a weird spaceship.
It's just such a weird looking ship. It just really throws me off. It doesn't.
That's Spelljammer for you, though. They're all very weird ships.
It is incredibly off-putting and unpleasant, and that is why I like it so much.
Okay,
that's true. That seems very Jack-like.
It does, and the ship is not my favorite looking ship.
Jack, since you're off-putting and undesirable, I forget what you said. Could you pick a
undesirable?
And I don't remember saying I was undesirable.
Oh,
it's true. It's true. Society at large has determined that I am off-putting and undesirable. But
let's start on a down note.
If we could, I apologize. We got off to a perfect start, and
you derailed it. We were on par right there.
We were on fire. PDF page 7, please, on the left-hand side, and it says sci-fi
this is
television.
One of mine too. Yeah.
How? This is a letter from the. Okay, well then we'll.
You guys know Pierre? He's from Toronto.
Well, that's kind of what piqued my interest, but this is a letter to the editor about the sci-fi TV channel that was coming. Cable channel. I didn't have cable, but it pledges to be the best of fiction, fantasy, and horror.
And it did.
And for a while there.
Then it became sci-fi and then just went to shit.
I think it went downhill before that too, but
It did. They
It-
did put out the best Dune adaptation ever. So
No, with those fucking costumes, are you kidding me? So excuse my language, but
anyways,
there was
Farscape.
apparently the list lineup. They were proposing Dark Shadows, Prisoner, Doctor Who, Flash Gordon, Space 1999, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Excuse me, and yeah,
was Dark Shadows that vampire cop one?
No, Dark Shadows
No.
was a vampire soap opera from the '60s that
Oh,
ran
okay,
for like
yeah, yeah,
800
okay, I remember
episodes
that
or
one.
something crazy.
What was the vampire cop one?
That was
Forever Night.
Forever Night. Yeah, that was Canadian.
Okay.
It was filmed in Toronto.
Yeah, but anyways,
Dark Shadows being the soap opera, the Dallas of vampires.
Yeah, it was great. But there's so many of them. It started black and white and went all to color. Dark Shadows went forever. Prisoner was, well, same with Doctor Who. Prisoner, like these are all very long running shows. Flash Gordon,
Yeah.
it was. I assume they talking about movies at that spot. There's no. I guess there was serials of Flash Gordon.
Well,
Maybe
the
that was-
Buster Crab one, the black
Yeah.
and white one.
Space 1999, obviously, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the
they-
Galaxy. There was a miniseries, I think, and the movies.
Martin
but the movie
Landau?
was no back. Yeah,
I need
it's
to build that model.
Space
The Eagle
1999. Yep, I watched that whole series. First season pretty good. Second season terrible.
Yeah. It was a great premise, though. I loved it.
Yes.
but done properly, it's for fans of, like us, who are starved for this kind of stuff.
If we're looking
It
for
was-
remakes, Space 1999 would be a good, Seeing as
Yeah.
that's the flavor of Hollywood now. Is just let's remake something.
But yeah, the Sci-Fi Channel that was a big deal. I was amazed it was this late. I didn't think it was 91. I thought it was around before then. But yeah, it's
Really?
I was very excited for sci-fi because I was thinking, oh great, they'll probably put Battlestar Galactica reruns on there.
Yeah.
And they didn't. But they brought the Battlestar Galactica reboot in.
Yes, we had something called Space in Canada, which was same idea. So, and yeah, it was classics. Back when cable television wasn't just all reality TV shows.
Oh god.
Well, that was the downfall. As soon as they figured out you could put infomercials, reality television, and wrestling.
Yeah,
That
Sci-Fi had
doesn't
wrestling.
matter.
Yeah, that's right. I remember when that happened. Yep.
So, like the History Channel, it happened to all of them.
Oh yeah, the
Easy
History
bought-
Channel went deep, but it went deep.
Well, it's all
with, like,
aliens. Yeah, ancient
Well,
aliens.
no, what they do, the mountain men reality about guys who live out in the
Yeah.
mountains.
Those catfish guys.
And there's the gold digger guys and then the logging guys, but none of that has anything to do with history.
No. There's a lot of that.
No.
Discovery too is all like that now too.
Yeah.
There is no good channels anymore, and obviously everybody knows the MTV and Much Music went the same way, where it was all
Yeah.
just
But you're
scantily
right,
clad teens.
they went definitely heavy on the aliens too, the History Channel.
Yeah, it's all ancient aliens.
Yeah.
Anyways, back in the day, 1991, it was still good to watch cable because there was no internet. Well, there was, but it was very
There was, but
rudimentary.
it wasn't, when you watch something, it would be like as it loaded.
Anyways,
Who's in charge of this thing?
Pat, what is your first article?
All right, let's go to page 12. Inventing the instant adventure. With that really cool looking whatever that is. Is that an owlbear?
It definitely is. Yeah, it might be actually.
It's got tiger stripes though, so maybe it's a tiger bear.
It looks like an.
Bear
Yeah, it doesn't.
tiger?
Yeah, it doesn't look like an owl. You're right. It looks like a tiger bear. It is by Bud Root. It's a very good picture.
Yeah. So this article is basically tips and samplers for creating adventures on the fly. Like if your party goes over there and you need to put something together real quick, he gives you lots of solid tips, and he's got a great list of examples of things you can do to put together really quickly I hate to call it a one shot because it
side
could be a one
adventure.
shot or it could be a side adventure. And then to give you time to maybe steer them back on the right path.
Or you
And
didn't
there's
have
the-
anything prepared that night, and you're like, we're not quite ready to start the next the next
Exactly.
adventure.
Or like I said, the guys I used to play with in Shadowrun were very. if there was a path and there was an obtuse way of going it, they would take the path outside obtuse area.
It wouldn't even be close to the path.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh god, all right.
It's not even a right angle to the path. It's a Euclidean.
Exactly. So some of these things,
Non-Euclidean.
so this really hits nice home for me. It gives you really good things, and what helps with this too is there's still tons of wandering monster tables through all the Dragon magazines that you can choose and pick from to help with this too. So,
and I think wasn't in the compendiums at the front, didn't they have the
I think they did, yeah.
Yeah. So it's this kind of article is always useful, especially if you're a DM. You read this and you're like, oh, it gives me ideas.
24 examples of things you can do. Like you can have debtors chasing one of them, and you can have the debtors chase them back into the right path.
Yeah, these are this classic, just like easy ways to get into a quick adventure and then just have some fun with it.
Yeah, fairs, of course. There's always the medieval fair that we have always talked about before.
Well, you're trying to have a lived-in world where there's a suspension of disbelief. So you kind of have to, every once in a while, you're going to have to wing it. And the more prepared you are to do so and keep it going, some players, they'll ask you the NPC's name, everyone they come into, the bartender, the waitress.
I always have notes, trying to make notes.
Simon? That's the third Simon we've met this.
It's a very common name.
It's a common name here.
Cover this in another article, and he talks about how you flesh out your city and things like that. So that helps. This interweaves together with all the other articles that help with this stuff. I will say that I feel like if you have your own kind of campaign world put together, this is a little easier to work with. But if you're playing off a module, that everything is kind of preset in the adventure and it has kind of a more set storyline, some of this might be hard to weave into that.
Yeah, but if you're playing actual campaign,
this gets you thinking, get your mind working in that sense. So,
yeah, like I know Jack's world is all plotted out, like they're not plotted out, but it's all living there, and you could punch one of these holes right into somewhere, and just be like, hey, we're playing this now, and it works in your little world because you already know what's there. Whereas, if you're just playing in Forgotten Realms, you're like, oh shit, I have to really keep to the what's everything is, and
So
cool.
So this is a very, very cool little article. If you're a first-time DMer or you have problems with, like I did, with party members not reading the clues, reading the writing on the wall.
I blame the DM at that point.
Well, I think what it is that they think I'm always going to throw them a curveball. So then,
overthinking is always an issue.
Like, that can't be right because you would never give us something that obvious.
We had a friend who did that a lot, where we'd be like, no, this is clearly what you're supposed to do, and then he'd be like, nope, I'm doing that must be a red herring. It's like, no, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, paranoia ran rampant.
Yeah. We're gonna go to page 82, I believe. 82 role-playing reviews. It's Dark Conspiracy is the first one. This is by Alan Varney, the vampire. Dark Conspiracy, we had a question about this game. We saw the ad and we're like, what is this? And we thought, we were trying to figure out what it was. And it's pretty much Shadowrun mixed with Call of Cthulhu, but not cyberpunk. It's kind of like a dystopian future. It is GDW, so it uses the Twilight 2000 system, so it is crunchy as all hell, and it takes itself way too seriously, and it's not a fun-loving Shadowrun game. It's more like you're stuck in this world that's horrible, and you have to live through it. That is the GDW way. So, but that was the first one. So it's Dark Conspiracy because this one's all about it's Halloween kind of themed, like scary things.
You're gonna move into my second article.
Yes, the second one is Vampire the Masquerade. Is the other one in here?
That's what I picked.
Yes, Vampire, and finally a review of Vampire the Masquerade, and it's funny to hear somebody review it not knowing what this is going to do to their role-playing landscape. He does say, like, he really gloms onto, he really gets what this game is, and it's I find that pretty amazing at the time. He wasn't like, what the hell is this? He was like, oh, I get this. It's all about mood. It's about drama.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of Dark Conspiracy. It's not about shooting lots of guns. It's about playing your characters. And he does complain about the pretentious quotes all over the book. I'm like, oh, that's
I will
Vampire.
say though, I do agree with his assessment of the game. It's like really good. Kind of, it's not about the numbers so much, but the point that he makes that I 100% agree, especially with this first edition, is that rulebook was a mess. To find rules
layouts, yeah,
it was all over the place.
Yeah,
and then you had the clan books, which added other things, even more detours for finding rules and stuff. So
yeah, we never really had I never DM'd it. Like, we had a friend who DM'd it, so we never really had a real deal with the rules so much. So it was more like, oh, okay.
But yeah, it was awful.
It was a terrible DM, but it also was, we weren't used to playing like this either. We weren't used to, and probably weren't very comfortable with playing like drama, and we were teenage kids. Like, we're not.
You definitely had.
We weren't theater kids, you know.
Definitely had to be soap operation. Especially if you played Adventure, and you had to really be that Machiavellian type of guy.
Yeah. It was I don't think we really glommed onto, because we were right there at the very beginning. Like, literally, our friend bought this off of Mark Reinhagen at a con. First edition, signed. Like, it was probably worth tons of. If he had it now, it probably worth tons of money now. But
does he still have it? Do you guys talk to him anymore?
We don't talk to this person anymore.
That's yeah.
It was but yeah. So I'm sure we caught on really early, and we weren't prepared for what it was. That's for sure. We were definitely in the this is a storytelling game. We didn't understand. Where's the combat? But
where was the anything? I remember
there wasn't really. Yeah, well, that was bad DM, because he didn't really give us an adventure. He was kind of like, here's the world. You're like, okay, what do we do?
We were in a manor for like hours, and we were just like, what's the deal here? And the deal was supposed to be us interacting with each other, I guess. But it was like, well, no one wants to just stand here and talk. Let's do something.
He didn't set you guys up.
No, it was bad.
Well, also, it would have been fine if we were that kind of people. If you were theater people who want to just play in that world, that's different. But we weren't.
But he's still going to give you a little bit of direction. It's like you can't be a theater person without a director either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and we didn't really know what we were getting into. Like, this was before the TV show. This was before, like, way before like Twilight and things like that. So we didn't really know what this was.
My friend Tony, who GM Vampire for us, so he did really sit everyone down and said, what clan you're going to play, and then he kind of laid it out. So this is the style this clan lives in, like Bruja, punk rocker kind of guys. And who were the Gangrels were more dog like
the Nosferatu
packed together, and then the Ventru were the
rich
puppeteer type kind of guys. So if you're going to be that guy, you have to kind of act like that kind of.
Yeah. We definitely didn't have the basis down, so we were kind of like, I think we played it like maybe twice, if that. So, but it is a sea change in the way role-playing games are going to be coming pretty soon. The indie revolution. This is the beginning of it. So, it's still to continue to this day. There's this. I'm sure Vampire influenced a lot of the modern kind of games, which are diceless and just telling stories and not really.
This was still 10-sided dice, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, this is still dice, yes.
But how many dice you rolled was how many pips you have and whatever.
Yeah, it was definitely a pip system. Remember that?
Yeah.
But so Vampire First Edition, not the best, but it did set the stage for a whole new amazing world. So there you go. Anything else you want to add, Pat? Since this was yours also.
No, that's pretty much it. It's just he does rave about it. He talks about. But then he also really just hammers how horrible the setup for the book is.
Yeah. Also, he does mention the art. The art, like it's funny, Tim Bradstreet did for both Dark Conspiracy and this, he did art. He's like, in this, like, I remember the art for Vampire was amazing. Tim Bradstreet's art for the vampires actually I have one on my wall currently. So it was influential. And then just the other art too, like it was really, really well laid out. That's for sure. Like artistically. So in the classic covers where it's just the green, looks like a marble kind of with the
green marble,
yeah. And they all had their color coordinated for all the different ones coming out.
I think I picked up the latest version of Vampire, didn't I?
I think you did at
That's G-Con?
Yeah, because it's the Hasbro company, whatever that company is that does them now.
I don't remember if I read it. I think I read it. I've since already forgotten how to play it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's similar. Anyways, back to Jack. What is your second article?
Ooh, okay. Number 2 was page 12, Instant Adventure. Oh, no.
Oh no!
So I think I'm going to have to hope and pray that both of you have your own
You refused to
unblemished.
pick another one. You didn't have a backup.
No, I didn't. Usually, sometimes I will have an honorable mentions down here so I can pivot if there's something interesting. I
But
just
there
didn't.
wasn't. Yeah, I think I only had one other too. Actually, this wasn't the greatest magazine.
No.
Pat, what is your second one then?
All right, my last one, since we bumped into my second article,
Sure.
we're going to go to page 89.
At least it's not my last one.
Rhyme and Reason.
Whoa, that's
Using
fair.
riddles in gaming.
Hate riddles.
Yeah. I mean, he goes off and talks about riddles and gaming and stuff.
The
And
Roach.
I agree with him in this set that there is a lack of it in D&D other than Tolkien references, kind of in a sense. And most of these adventures don't use a lot of riddle. I mean, off the top of my head, Tomb of Horrors is the only one that used a lot of riddles. And mostly those were to make
Screw
the
you
traps
over?
I'm not even going to say that disarm the traps when you got the riddles. It was just to make them less deadly.
Don't touch the big thing in the middle of the room.
Exactly. So, and he goes and gives different riddle samplers and stuff like that. And it's I do think the riddle is an underused tool in D&D. Unfortunately, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings is kind of according to that, so everyone kind of models the riddles around that. And I do believe that DMs should utilize more riddles to access areas instead of finding secret buttons or things like that to open doors and things, or move on to the next area, kind of things like that. So, at least in my experience playing D&D, I mean, other people's experience, maybe their DMs were way too many riddles.
Yeah, I hate riddles, and but the good thing is now we have phones. We could just look it up.
Not if you play in a Faraday cage. But yeah,
I could take or leave riddles, but I think if you're going to use one, let the players, noodle it over.
Oh yeah, you definitely have to give them time.
Give them time.
Suspend the game clock. You get yourself a beer or refill your nacho cheese.
I'd rather just roll my intelligence score, thanks.
But at some point, if it's not clicking, you gotta just
give a clue
jump
or
in and
something.
go, okay, you guys touched on it. Let's get a roll in here. Let's see.
Or
you
drop
gotta do something.
Or drop a 10-foot stone on top of their heads.
Yeah.
Because you go from I have their interest and they're working together to
frustration.
One of them's starting to he's starting to stack his dice. Okay, guys,
at that point
you're close.
I guess they said it's not to make it super hard though, right?
Well,
yeah,
or make it logical. We've had GMs also who give us riddles that we're like, how the fuck were we supposed to figure that out? Like,
well, literally, I totally agree.
Yeah. It's turned me off the riddles, the Riddler. My last one, I guess. I think it's my last one. Let me just make sure. I don't think I have any others. Yeah, Jack took one and Pat took one, or we shared one.
Oh no, this wasn't a bountiful magazine.
Nah, it was a lot of Spelljammer stuff, which obviously we're not crazy about. So, was this Spelljammer?
No, this is not Spelljammer.
No, that was the last one.
Yeah. How to build worlds.
Yeah, it was a lot of GM stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I think we hit most of the GM stuff with Instant Adventures, the riddles,
Yeah.
I thought for sure that Jack was going to do the dinosaur one just to make Rob angry.
Oh, I'm not angry at dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. I hate the early mammals. I think that's the fucking stupidest thing ever.
Oh, is it the early mammals one? Okay.
I love dinosaurs.
There's a dinosaur, how to create a dinosaur world here.
It was oddly specific. It
Yeah, it was like
wasn't
a
the
certain era.
Pleistocene.
Yeah, it was like a certain
Yeah, and
era.
it was some era where Rob was like, of all the eras, this
Yeah.
one's the.
This is the worst era ever.
Yeah.
We
These
decided to
aren't
get
dinosaurs. These are.
Yeah, they were like early
Yeah.
mammals. Like, screw you.
I
We're gonna go to
forget-
page 74. Yeah, I can't remember either. This is the Origins Awards for 1990. So we get to see what was in the zeitgeist for 1990. Some of the highlights for me were the BattleTech Compendium won Best Miniature Rules, which is just the compendium was kind of like just the collection of all the different rules for BattleTech in one at the time. Now there's like 18 books that collect all the rules.
Look what won the best role playing adventure. The one I said is quite possibly the best campaign for any role playing.
Yep, Harlequin West won for Shadowrun, won best role playing adventure. Best role playing game in general was Pendragon from.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know much about Pendragon. I never really played it, but
It's from Chaosium, and it's Greg Stafford, so obviously a legend in the game. Pendragon is, I believe, is the game that you don't just play one character, you play like their lineage. So you're playing through many. If you're you play and then you play as their son, and like it keeps going through. It's an interesting way to play.
it looks like somebody have won 2 winners, like a tie.
Yeah, there was a tie for Ravenloft and Seattle Shadowrun. Sourcebook one tied for best presentation in a book, which I thought was funny. And Sandy Peterson from Call of Cthulhu fame was inducted to the Hall of Fame that early, but
Nice.
he's still kicking today, causing untold mayhem.
I love this computer game, Populous.
Populous, yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, a lot of GW, one for like Gene Stealer, one for best board game presentation for it's a supplement for Space Hulk,
So,
and I think GW won something else too. I saw. Oh yeah, best board game was Gene Stealer.
Wing Commander. That was also ahead of its time.
Oh, Wing Commander, yeah, with a full motion video and stuff. That was pretty crazy. I believe it was even in the first one. Yeah, it's just a bunch of interesting things that I thought was. The Space Orc Battle Wagon won for best vehicle miniature.
Oh, I have that.
I'm sure you did.
It's not the best model, let's be honest.
And I think you
It's
probably
definitely-
have. Oh, sorry.
It's definitely a snapshot in time when where all these things come out and which ones, it's of the year. So all of these came out together, and you might not know. Hey, I don't remember that coming out then or whatever. It's an interesting reference.
Yeah, and the AD&D Miniatures Monsters box set was the best sci-fi fantasy book box. I'm sure Pat has that too.
Actually, I don't think I do.
No? I do like that there was an addendum because there was irregularities in the 89 one. That it was funny that the irregularities were both in the play-by-mail stuff, so it's like just like the internet now where you get people voting for multiple times and stuff. I think that happened with the play-by-mail things in 1989. People were sending in multiple ballots. But
That's funny.
I thought it was funny that there was irregularities for that. They had to correct it. I'm still amazed there's play-by-mail in 1991. I guess the internet isn't quite there to steal the play-by-mail's thunder.
No. I think email is still a school thing at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, there'd be bulletin boards and things like that you could play.
Because in 1990, I did not have an email yet.
No, I didn't have an email until I went to university, which would have been 98, probably.
Yeah, I think 97 or 98.
Yeah, that's when I definitely...
Maybe even 99. No.
Good old Hotmail was my first...
Yes.
Oh, we just talked about that. My sister still has a Hotmail account, and I was like, really? Like, how is that possible?
I do.
No, but it switched over to Live. Everybody was supposed to switch over.
What was I using for an email back in the day? Was it Netscape? Was Netscape an email client also as well as a browser?
Oh, I'm sure it was.
They asked you to switch over.
Yeah, you just chose not to.
But if you didn't,
you still got
I still have Hotmail.
Yeah, so this was the Origins in 1990. I think that's probably all our articles, right? Anybody got anything else?
That's it.
We'll go to ads then. We'll start with Jack because we don't want to steal Jack's ads.
Okay, page 41, please.
This was one of mine.
Also.
Yep, this was like, what the what?
Okay. Adventure to your imagination.
Add music, yep.
We are looking at theme music for your games, and this looks like probably a cassette tape inside.
What I said is this in my notes. Is this a freaking cassette tape?
It must be, right?
It
It's
must
like a
be
single.
in a
Weird box shape. Yeah.
Well, if it was the cassette singles were the shape of the cassette, and it was just a piece of paper wrapped around it,
Yeah.
piece of cardboard, and that's what this looks like.
Because it was supposed to fit in the, wasn't that they did that to fit in the same spot as records? They purposely made them bigger so that, because the record bins were so deep, they had to make them taller. I think that's why they did that.
Now that I'm looking at it, it could be a cardboard sleeve, and maybe if the cassette tape was white, maybe I can see that it's just a cassette slid into a.
It's a weird, it's a weird shape though. It doesn't.
That's how cassette singles used to come, and it's just in the sleeve.
Yeah, longer.
Could be.
But yeah, this is was it DM Music, battle themes, music for games.
But the highlight here. Okay, so adding music, people do it all the time. Okay, mail order, send U.S. dollars, $26.50.
Yeah,
it better be more than one tape.
That's when it can't be a single.
Yeah, it's got to be a bunch of cassettes, I would assume.
Or yeah, I don't know. Plus 20% postage.
Well, it's coming from Belgium. That's why.
Oh yeah,
Antwerp, Belgium. So yes, but that's a bit spicy. That price point is a little outside of what I thought for just some battle music.
It's easy enough to get that off.
At the time, you wouldn't be.
Well, you could put a cassette recorder next to your Conan when it's playing on HBO, like on your TV.
When the credits are rolling and it's playing some. Yeah. Is that Spock fighting so he can mate music? Yeah.
Wow. I just looked it up. $27, which is about right, is $65 in today's money.
Wow.
That's expensive for just some music.
So I don't know exactly.
At this point, I was taping off the old taping off the radio on my cassette player.
Yes. Where it was the top 10 and you'd be waiting because you wanted to hear your song and okay, here it comes, and you don't want the DJ.
So you're trying to
don't want that.
Shut up.
So and sometimes they're nattering through it and you're like, I just want to hear Paula Abdul singing with a cartoon cat and go. And then you'd record, then you'd wait and then stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or I had one that had
right up until they start singing, and then so you don't have the intro, you just have right where it starts singing.
Yeah. Or you'd hope there was a clean version where it was like two songs back to back, so you didn't talk in between.
Yeah.
I remember also having one that had two tapes, so you could tape from one tape to another. That was high end piracy right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But classic. But yeah, this is insane. $65 just to add music. Jack, I know you hate having any music playing when we're playing games. You rail against it, I would say.
I mean, that being said, there's plenty of record soundtracks at the time.
Oh yeah, cheaper.
Some music in the background is okay, I suppose, but I have bad hearing in one ear in particular from my military time, and there's a certain timbre of background noise. Like when Rob and I travel, he has to hear intercoms. He has to be because it's just
there's a hum that goes. You can't hear shit.
It sort of becomes one noise, and I can't. So if that music was just hitting, and I'm trying to talk or hear or listen, and I would get not aggravated. It would ruin the experience for me. So I can see why people do it. For me, it's just a little. Yeah,
some people obviously if you're on the spectrum, you want some other music playing, but at the time you didn't know that, but that's why. But yeah, it's a for me, I like to have background music, but it's because I'm on the spectrum. But yeah, it's I can see it as a useful thing. There's soundscapes now, which you can get for on the internet. You can do that kind of background music and stuff, but to pay this much for it at this time is because, like Pat said, you could just buy a bunch of soundtracks for that price. They're probably $10 each. You could buy a ton of them.
records.
Join Columbia House and just get a shit ton of them. Like
Yes. Because Conan came out in '84, so there's the Conan soundtrack.
Oh, there's tons of
You got the
I'm sure
Kroll
Beastmaster.
Beastmaster,
I'm
any
sure
of the
there's all
Batshit
those.
movies.
Yeah, I'm sure there's tons of soundtracks like that out there.
Flash Gordon, if you just wanted to add
Or
that
just
clean-
classical music. Like there's tons of
Highlander.
options. Yep. Well, that's just
Highlander
Queen.
was in the '90s, right?
Yeah, that was Queen. That was early, it was 80s.
I follow two just
Ambiance, yeah.
ambiance YouTube channels. One is name's Gelfie, and I always think, well, if I was going to do something and I needed something in the background, I would use his stuff. Like if we were doing our
Now there's tons of options. Yeah, there's not even a question.
so I could just start choosing and picking and choosing. I guess beggars can't be choosers. You're gonna put out $70 to get what could be a couple cassette tapes. You're gonna do it.
Yeah, it's Fantasy Production Office is the one who's making it. I wonder if it's just somebody was like, hey, we can really fleece these nerds if we put some music out.
Well, I'm sure some classical musicians just didn't make first chair.
Or wanted to do music for movies and didn't succeed, so they just had all this music that they're like, hey, we can just sell it.
Because MIDI's still in its early phases in the '90s, like
MIDI?
Apple II.
Yeah.
Not Apple II, the Apple Mac is out, and it's the real basic MIDI sound blasters at that time.
MIDI.
So your keyboard sounds like your horns on the keyboard do not sound like horns, and your strings on the keyboard didn't sound like strings. But
well, we covered someone who was doing background music early days in this show, and someone in the comments said, "Oh, you can see his stuff on YouTube." And I remember,
oh yeah, we did look at that guy. He was all dressed in like a Conan suit, and the girl was there.
Was that? I think that was a separate one. That's a different one.
Yeah,
this was even early. That was more recently. That was really early. One Jack's talking about was
early on, and it was
like a pan flute kind of guy.
Pan flute, Sam Fear.
No, I'm talking about the guy.
Yeah, I know you're talking
about the guy and the girl, and they were like all beastmastered out. It was.
Well, we could watch someone had uploaded his stuff on YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Curiosity.
So if Battle Themes is out there on YouTube, please send us a link because we're curious to hear it.
Definitely throw a fucking Zamfir in there too if you need pamphlets.
Pat, what is your first ad?
Let's go to page 4.
4.
He'll destroy the potion and perish things. So this is R.A. Salvatore's new series, Outside of Dritz, which I love this Cleric Quintet book series.
It's like
and I don't think he did enough with these characters in these series.
Is it like Name of the Rose, but in Forgotten Realms?
No, it's it really follows a very early cleric, and is kind of really was designed to be at the church all the time, and he gets kind of, I don't know what's the word for it. I don't want to say sucked, but he
disillusioned.
Not just a little bit disillusioned.
Does he fall in love with a younger priest?
He gets taken out by he gets taken out of the monastery from another cleric and then things like that to stop a demon from coming back together. If I remember right, it's been a while since I read it. I might reread it again, but it was a kind of a departure from most of the source.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't get many cleric books. That's not like the.
Yeah,
it's usually
so like and that's why I really liked it because it was a different type of hero. You know, this guy was all devout,
nerdy,
didn't know a thing. All he knew was the church, and then all of a sudden he's cast into this outside world. So I think it was a very nice series that was put together, and I really enjoyed it. And I wish he did more with that character. Like he did 105 books with Dritz, but that Dritz is the moneymaker. He's the cash cow.
Catterley is his character's name.
Yes.
Yeah, I never even heard of these books. I didn't know there was a druid cycle. What is it called? The Cleric Quintet.
Yeah, it's one of the few books series that TSR and everyone were putting out that was more than 3 books.
It's a quintet. Yes, you must have had an idea for these. My first ad, my only ad actually now, is on page 121.
What the hell's 121?
I don't even know. I don't even remember. Oh yeah, this is
Let out.
Fantasy Warlord on page 121. Mass rules. It's like, well, GW is fantasy. You can tell GW fantasy is pretty popular. 40K is getting popular. This is a total ripoff of both those things.
Using the almost same looking font in the book cover.
Yeah, the cover looks very similar to the fantasy game. And look at the Skaven-like guys with their ray guns. Like, that's very GW looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's even from Derbyshire in England. So, yeah, somebody's trying to get some money out of the GW people by making this game. But it's a Fantasy Warlord mass combat game. It's by High Command. Never heard of them?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
This is definitely way before GW became the suing entity, the cease and desist entity it is now.
Yeah. Now, this wouldn't be allowed nowadays.
Well, you never know how long these people are, and someone had to be the first blood in the water.
That's true. Maybe these were the first ones sued out of existence.
You might be looking at the first sacrificial lamb that showed that you got to stomp every usurper.
Yeah, because this is, look at those miniatures. That looks very similar. Like,
I mean, yeah,
it's not a question.
You can't even hide it.
I know they're metal miniatures, so I wouldn't enjoy painting them. But like that third Skaven there looks dope, and the like Adeptus guy at the bottom corner with the machine gun and the power sword. Like, come on, those are.
Even the powered armor guys look cool. You can't really tell what's happening in the top little splat, but the print isn't that good. But even their little goblin guy looks very GW. Their little mascot.
Oh yeah,
Marshall Flay. That's the name of that guy. Yeah. So I just was like, wow, GW gonna sue somebody.
Or not? Still early.
Yeah. If you know if these guys were sued into existence by GW, let us know. Because it looks very similar. Jack, do you have another ad?
I do not.
What? I only have one ad this time, too.
What?
Pat, you better bring us home because we don't have any ads.
All right, let's go to page 58.
58. Yes, classic game. Played the crap out of this game.
Shadow. This is actually, if you believe it or not, this is an SSI game I didn't play. I didn't even know this was a thing.
There was like 200 SSI games. So
that's what I'm saying. I don't know how I missed these games because I was a devout SSI player. Anything that came in a gold box, I bought and played because it was cash gold. But I'm looking at this thing, and it doesn't say that it's a Dragonlance game, but they really went hard with the look-alike Dragonlance.
Those characters definitely look like Dragon. They're like gender-swapped versions of the Dragonlance characters.
Yeah, well, I mean, that guy definitely looks like Tannis. I mean, with feathers in his hair instead of other things, and then that barbarian girl looks like the barmaid.
Oh yeah.
I think in the girl in the armor, the paladin looks like the male paladin from Dragonlance. Yeah, it's Shadow Sorcerer. I don't know if I've actually played this one, but there's so many of these games.
Yeah, I didn't. This is the one I didn't. So I was very, very surprised that I didn't see this one.
It's.
I just want to know what costs $750.
No, you can win. You can win $750.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's you play in. It must be some sweepstakes you can win.
Oh, okay.
How much was this? This was. Does it say a price?
It doesn't.
It has the catalog. It says you can order by Visa, but it doesn't say the price for it, which is kind of funny.
I would assume it was in the 20s, $29.95 probably.
Yeah, but yeah, it's they use the same system, the same engine pretty much for all these games, so it's just different adventures, really. It does play in the Dragonlance game world. It says that in the second thing. So that
does it really? Where did it say that?
Under the second picture there, it says play in the Dragonlance game world in 3D isometric view.
All right. Well, then that's why these guys look exactly like a Dragonlance character. Then.
Yeah.
Well, if you look
even
in
the guy in the background,
you'll see, and then bottom right hand corner, there's the supplement kind of looking with the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. That it looks like,
but it doesn't actually say Dragonlance. Yeah, that's funny.
It could literally, with that artwork, that layout, that could be like something you could release.
Yeah.
hey, these characters, you like Thimblebum, the Kinder fighter. Well,
Here's a female
here's her
version.
stats. Yeah.
So this may be why I didn't play this game then, because it was a Dragonlance.
You don't like Dragonlance?
Well, I didn't.
But it's just funny that it doesn't say Dragonlance on the actual box art. Usually Dragonlance is like right on the top. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but
the only time it says it, yeah.
I love the books, and then when it got in all the other things, and then just like anything else, I just got browbeaten by Dragonlance, especially Kenders. Oh god, everyone wanted to be a fucking Kender, and I just couldn't stand those things. Punt those fuckers right across the room.
That's racist. Pat, do you have any more ads?
I do have one more.
Excellent.
And let's go to page 92.
Yeah, I saw this one too.
Cryomech. And all I got for Cryomech is, what the hell is this?
It's such a basic. It doesn't even think it says the company. It's just a voucher, and it's got 25mm sci-fi combat rules and a name. It's got nothing else.
And yeah, for 15, it's is this the voucher?
Yeah, 15
pounds off.
Yeah, I'm like, is it on the second page? Nope, that's it.
I've seen this in the wild, and I believe I had some miniatures from this.
Oh yeah,
I think I did. Just lone
cool looking ones.
Marines.
Yeah.
You do a very poor job of saying who. You don't even know what company is making this. So
well, it's a teaser. It's a
maybe.
Hey.
Yeah, now that you say that, Jack, I do recognize the way it says Cryomech. I remember little blisters with that on it, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. And I think I had some Space Marines.
Mm-hmm. Sci-fi miniatures with this,
Yeah. Again, I could be wrong, but I could swear that I've seen this out in the wild. Blister packs hanging up at, say...
I don't recognize this one bit. It's definitely got a little bit of Aliens feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's why it's like Aliens meets
the H.R. Geiger kind of background look.
40K.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see who makes this game.
Yeah, so
doing some research on the fly.
If anyone's played this game, let us know. Was it good, or was it just a really bad knockoff?
There's one it's an ode to obscure games, Cryomech.
Cryomech. Is that supposed to be a speaker, you think, in the O, or is it like a vent?
I don't know.
Or is it a radiator?
So Cryomech is on blisters, Jack. There is a bunch, so I'm sure that's where we saw it. But it's the people who make it are Cryomech Holdings. It is one thing. Oh, Fantasy Forge is the company behind it.
Fantasy
and it
Forge.
says it is inspired by Aliens. Yep.
Okay.
Well, it included buildings, scenery, and vehicles. Fantasy Forge, little known fact, became Grenadier in 1993. This is Grenadier before Grenadier existed.
Oh, Grenadier existed.
Grenadier exists.
Yeah, so it must have been taken over by them.
Grenadier must have bought them.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, I just can't read. It became Grendel. That's what it became. Sorry, I never learned to read.
Never learned to read.
And also
something about a Grundle. What's going on here?
Scotia Micro Models in 1996 took it over, and Scotia Grendel is still around today. Something called Scotia Grendel. So, but it is an Alien ripoff. It seems like, but that's probably why we liked them. That's why we saw the blister packs. Like, oh, that's cool. Probably some xenomorphs and stuff.
An homage, a pastiche. It doesn't necessarily need to be a ripoff. It could.
Homage. Yes, that's a nice way of saying it.
I think I had purchased some, so
they're available on Noble Knight Games. If Noble Knight wants to sponsor us, we'll mention them. Hey, that first time's free, Jack.
Oh, okay. All the cool kids are doing it. Noble Knight. Use the.
We're very happy free. If anybody who's associated with Noble Knight Games is mentioning, we will work for credit.
Exactly.
Because we buy a lot from there. It's a great place. Is that it, Pat?
What have I got?
That might be the episode, guys. We're gonna go back to the top.
Back to the top.
Not the best issue. A lot of interesting stuff, but nothing really exciting to talk about. I found it was like, okay, that's useful, but It's not.
Yeah, it was just touched. There wasn't. It was pretty much straightforward articles. There was no
Yeah, there was nothing like, oh my god, what is
other
this?
debatable
Or yeah,
topics in that sense. You know what I'm saying?
there was a Marvel file that was like kind of dumb and like really
I
side
think our biggest
characters.
debate was this is a tiger bear or an owl bear. I think it's a tiger bear.
Yeah,
I like the etchings around him that kind of tell the story of the owl bear, tiger bear before they even show up. If you look, there's on the stone slabs around them.
What page is this on now? We got to go back and look at it.
Well, oh yeah, I like the guys running.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah.
There's the etching does show the guys running it.
Yeah, I really liked that art. I poured
cool.
over that quite a bit.
That's a really good picture. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, my hypocrisy knows no bounds. I will rail against issues that don't have a theme, but when it does have a theme and it's something that doesn't work for this show, it does make it a little tough. Mm-hmm. If the theme is, spoopy Halloween and it's October, yeah, we can work with that. When it's there's Rob's ghosts of podcasts. And now the ship is rocking. He's at sea. We better end this one. We started crazy. We're getting crazy. I think you better rein this in.
If you have any suggestions about I don't know, anything, comment below. And please join us again next week. We talk about something more exciting, hopefully. And if we missed something that was hilarious in this magazine, let us know below also. Like, share, subscribe. We're getting a lot of subscriptions. It's pretty good. We're having a good times. I think it's the time for Noble Knight. Get on the ground floor. That's all I'm saying.
We got to be close to 200 now?
I think 10. We're close to 10.
100?
180 something in around there. So yeah, that's pretty good.
We have much more than that. Jack is just being humble. But yeah, thank you for joining us. It's nice reading all your comments. Lately, people have been very nice in the comments. So nobody's ever been mean in the comments, which is nice. Except for the guy who thought we were making fun of him that he was dead. But we've explained that's just a joke.
Yeah,
we haven't said anybody's dead in a while. Since 91. A lot of people are still alive from 91, unfortunately.
That's true. Eventually, that's really going to bite us in the ass, but great bit. I'm not going to stop it.
Until then, I've been Rob.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Chopper.
Did in the right order this time. We'll be back.